Hello and welcome to episode 70 of the Talking Wednesday podcast. Dexterity Box joined by Punkchef41 as always. How has your week been this week, my friend?
It's been good, gearing up for the half term day one today, and she's been a little So it's been a great start to the half term holiday, but it's an interesting one because we kind of hit that kind of thing going, oh, she's starting big girl school soon. And it's like, oh, hang on. She's starting big girl school soon. And it just that sudden bit of a parent going, she's not a child, little baby anymore. She's actually grown up. So it's been a bit of an interesting one. So, and also got
to only Monday at the day of recording this, so you'll have fun.
Yeah, and then I got to speak to my uncle who's a Nottingham Forest fan and very happy for him.
Yeah, so am I, and I put that on Twitter and sort of like made the old joke because there's always been a nice thing between Forest fans and Wednesday fans, as far as I'm aware, with the sort of, both of our clubs have seen much better days. And I sort of went, congratulations. Really, I'm actually happy to see Forest do it. Now, literally, we are the only ones left who haven't done it, pretty much, sort of like jovially, sort of like, if you think about clubs that fell out of the Premier League, most of them, I think every single one of them from that era have been back, except us now. So
pretty much, yeah.
That's what I said in a tweet. And of course, because it was on the Sheffield Wednesday hashtag, guess what came to my mentions and messages? Fans of other South Yorkshire clubs that seemed to think that was about them. And I was like, I was congratulating Forest, for Christ's sake, because I don't usually get involved in that, but we really are rent-free sometimes, aren't we?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't usually like using that phrase, but
it's one of the things as well, because you spoke to Joe on tour, and I've spoke to him recently, and it's like, you do realise your channel's just going to go like that now.
Oh, massively, yeah.
I think he's already at like 7,000 subs. They've been growing all year, but he went, managed to get with him. But my uncle's in his 80s. He's seen the really big highs. He's seen the really big lows, and he's back at it. But the interesting thing is, they never went down to League One. There's always just been Championship.
Yeah.
And it's such a surprise when you see a club like the big club from back in the day. There's always been like a League One reset for a lot of them. And because that's not happened, it kind of goes... It also shows you if you stick with a manager and get the culture right, because Cooper had done a cracking job there. Bottom when he took over and then play off to the Premiership. And the fact he didn't get manager of the season is a joke. Premier League. I've been saying it all weekend, right? Well.
Oh, mate. Oh, you always have to do it. Apologies, audio listeners, if it's a bit different today. I'm using my backup mic. I'm using the one I use for videos, but I am in a different space, which has got for wooden floors. So it's kind of sound will probably bounce off. I'm trying to keep the mic quite close, but it's a different mic and it's a different area. So
how's your week been?
Very, very busy this week. I've been very tired. I've been under the weather. I've just been really run down in general. Like, I got ill like the Thursday before last, and I said I felt a bit ill like when we recorded the podcast last week.
Yeah, you did.
And just as the week went on, I just kept feeling like crap. I've not got COVID. There is other still illnesses, but it felt like I had that sort of run down level, And I don't know. It's like I'm resting now. I've got a couple of days off, but I'm taking this. I always schedule to have a couple of days off at the end of May. So and then we've got the bank holiday coming up. So I'm just taking some time to try and just recover a little bit. And that's why. But I'm also doing. Oh no, I didn't bring it up. No, I've made something I was going to show on the podcast. I think Soph's going to go and get it. She's just heard me say that, so I might show it later on.
I made
something that I will show on the podcast a little bit later on.
Okay.
But no, I've been because it was my birthday. I bought myself something for my birthday,
right?
And it's it's involved making something, and I will show it to the podcast watchers when that arrives shortly. But no, it's been good. I've been watching a lot of football. I was also on the side that a lot of people weren't. I lived in Liverpool for a while.
Yeah.
I love the city. I love the people. One of my best friends is probably like he's like a diehard Liverpool fan, you know. So he's just like,
they just didn't turn up, did they?
I don't necessarily agree with that. They weren't as amazing as they usually are. But
I think Crawford just like, thou shall not pass.
Exactly.
And saved everything.
So the way Salah got through with some of that, I don't understand how they did not score. But anyway, my creation is currently being handed to me, so I must show this.
Oh, wow.
This is a Lego DeLorean, right?
Bring it down a bit. I can just see on the thing.
I'm going to make sure our audience can see it properly as well, and it's in focus. But this is the coolest thing I have probably ever purchased. It doesn't light up very well on camera, but it's got the flux capacitor with a button. Jake, look at it. I'll show you. It lights up. Lights up. So obviously I made Back to the Future 2. There's a switch on the bottom, right? Okay. If you pull the switch, because the wheels go for hover mode. Right? The bonnet opens. This is making a lot of men in their 30s and 40s jealous right now, by the way. In the little bonnet, right?
God.
There's the hoverboard. You got the hoverboard. There's the plutonium crate actually in there. I'm not going to tilt it too. I'll show it to the camera a bit better. But yeah, this was my birthday treat to myself.
How long did it take you to make?
We've built it over the weekend. So we started building it Saturday night, watching the Champions League. Absolute mad Saturday night. And
you will be surprised how popular the Lego builds on Twitch are.
Well, So said, should I enter YouTube and become a Lego builder? And I went, I don't think we can financially afford that.
You want to buy a house, right? I think that's your deposit.
Even if
you made it back in like revenue stuff, that's your deposit. I know somebody who does a lot of Lego, and it's like they go to the Lego stores. I've been to the Lego stores. Like, how much do you spend? Only £400 this time.
I'm just saying, I'm not doing Lego, right? I like Back to the Future, and I always said if there's a good DeLorean, I found out there was a DeLorean. Apparently, it wasn't as good as this one. This is the new DeLorean they've brought out, but also you get the Doc and the Marty.
Oh, that's awesome!
Which is pretty cool. But anyway, that's me being a nerd. Should we talk about Sheffield Wednesday at some point in this podcast?
Yeah, might as well.
So obviously we are into the summer window. It's all about transfers. It's all about what's going over the club, incomings, outgoings. We start off the news this week with the talk of, we briefly mentioned it last week.
Yes.
That there was interest in Josh Windass, and now this has kind of gone through the mill a little bit. This is from the Star, and the headline is, Sheffield Wednesday looks set to resist interest in Josh Windass from Argentinian side Atletico Talares after an initial bid was rejected in strong terms, the Star understands. After the interest was revealed last week, the South American outfit tabled a bid for Windass's services with a fee understood to be in the region of $1 million, the same as which Millwall offered Wednesday last summer. But the Star can now reveal that the offer has been knocked back by the Owls, who are keen to keep hold of their key assets as they build towards an automatic promotion push next season. Darren Moore has been a keen admirer of Windass's skill set and sees the former Wigan Athletic man as a major part of his plans going forward. End quote. Funny they mentioned Wigan there, considering he's been trying to get all their fans on strings on Twitter recently. I'm like, oh, he's asking for some banter on Twitter.
To be fair, he's been doing quite well with putting his line out, and they've been catching the bait.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not hard though, actually, is it? I've noticed that. You can't tweet anything now without somebody getting annoyed. But yeah, he did have a bit of a go.
Also, he looks in bloody phenomenal shape at the minute, doesn't he? He looked like he'd gone from being, I'll be okay, to now I'm ready for next season.
You're going to be going into one of them Wednesday thirst tweets that I've been seeing, because when you follow the Wednesday things, all I've seen is people going,
you're seeing Josh Windass, yeah.
Like, why am I seeing this? Why have I recommended this?
He is in really good shape, and that both well going forward for us. This, I'm in two minds with this from Wednesday. I really am. Because I understand keeping a fit Josh Windass in League One is going to be super and clinical, because when he got fit for that little time, he was in the goals, he was making chances, he was there. But if he has a really good start to the season, November, you need to put a new deal in front of him immediately, because we can't have this situation where, right, he's had a good season, get to the end of the season, your deal's running out end of this year, do you want to stay or not, depending on what goes on, because we still got to find a way of making money, and that, as a football club, is selling players. I don't know, I'm a bit, on the one hand, I'm happy that he's staying because he's a crucial player for, but I'm also like...
We don't know that yet, obviously. They might come back with an improved offer. So there is that there.
It is that thing, because if we get, say, 2-3 million for him, that's a good chunk of money to reinvest in someone a bit younger.
I'll be honest, like, I do see the argument where I don't agree that people are calling him injury prone, right? Because one season where you get injured... sort of he's had a year which has not been great with it. I do understand the argument of 1 million for a player that's had that many injuries recently, just snap their hand off. I do see that side of it, don't get me wrong. But it would be the Wednesday look to sell him, and then he just doesn't get injured and he's fantastic next season. He has a fantastic... He's worked really hard and gets himself into a standard where he can keep, himself fit and keep performing. But...
I think also the big key, Darren Moore is someone who definitely does want to work with him. He's already said that so many times last season. And I think he was gutted he didn't have him for most of the season.
He scores goals at this level, He's got the pace as well, and the pace is what you need. And I'm not mocking you there, Jake, for the pace comment like I always do. But we do need a player that can find the net hand, has got pace, and he's versatile. He can drop further back if we do need to take Bannon off, for example. He can sort of drop into a cam role if we've got another option that can play through the middle. So I would like to see him as because Berahino's gone. For me, next season, I would like to see Windass Gregory up top. Yeah.
The interesting thing is, after, and I remember it because he had a go at Joey Palapesi, and he got told off by Moore for that. Ever since that, it does seem like there's been a bit of a, hang on a minute, you're a good player, I know you're a good player, don't think you're a good player kind of mentality with him. If you know what I mean? It seemed like he managed to tap something there from Moore's side to go, look, you're a good player, I know you're a good player, but let's actually prove to people you're a good player. Because he's not a mouthy as he used to be. With other players, he's actually a little bit more. He's taking it on Twitter. Yeah, but he does seem to be a bit more of a team player. The times when he was fit last season, where he would normally go to shoot and he'll play someone in instead. It seems like he's becoming more of an all-round footballer with his game that way.
Yeah, I agree. I do think for the 1 million, it's probably worth the risk to keep him on. But if they do come back, and even if they offer another 500k, we are not in a position at the minute to be turning down money, but
replacing him.
Are we? Because I do think it's this season or bust, which is the worry. Because if you look at the amount of money Wednesday is still losing, we really need to have everything at our disposal to go back up to the Championship next year. Because I felt that last season, to be honest, Jake, and we've not got promoted, so we're going to have to really knuckle down this season.
And if you look at that squad, what sellable assets are there actually there in terms of players?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably get rid of Patterson. You'd have to let go of him in this summer, though, because he's only got one more year. There's not a whole lot. Some of our younger players that potentially have another year or so, but there's nothing really. I think Fizz would fetch a bit of coin, but not too much. I think Fizz is probably a £1 million player now because of his potential. Maybe about 800 kick. 800k.
I don't hear, and if he has another good season, probably another $1 million you could do.
Yeah, because if you're looking for the potential in that position, I don't know though, because maybe we ain't seen enough of him to put that price tag on now. I struggle with it because football money's just gone crazy, so you never really know where to put that one. But yeah, we'll see what develops with the Josh Windass situation. I don't think he's in any real desire to leave, because when you were seeing him wind up Wigan fans, he was talking about how he played for Sheffield Wednesday, and then he was like talking about us as the club's stature and things, which is obviously going to please a lot of Wednesday fans.
Also, if you do go to think, be very careful in Argentina with what you put on Twitter. Not the place where they'll go, oh, that banter. They won't see it banter.
I don't know what you're getting at, Jake, but I ain't going anywhere near it. Right, okay. So, Sheffield Wednesday owner Dejphon Chansiri reveals Hillsborough Stadium improvement plans. This is from the Examiner Live, which is... It's Yorkshire Live, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're just the Examiners, the overall. I don't know why we're going into the specifics, but yeah. Quote, work is well underway on stadium improvements at Sheffield Wednesday's Hillsborough home. Chairman Dejphon Chansiri has confirmed new pitches will be relayed at the stadium and the club's Middlewood Road training ground this summer. Chansiri says new floodlights are also to be installed at Hillsborough ahead of the new League One campaign. Quote, after the season, we do a lot of maintenance on the stadium. We do that every year. After the season is the main time we get to do that. We will have new pitches at the stadium and training ground for next season, and I can tell you that we're going to have new floodlights, which will be a big improvement, end quote. Right. Okay, that's the exact same as what they just wrote up. I've just read it out again. Within the season, we do what we can. For example, a significant amount of investment has been made into this season. New ticketing and tilling systems, which helps us run far more efficiently as a club. This has also made the experience for fans better. We do what we can when we can. In an interview with the club's YouTube channel last week, manager Darren Moore said the players report back for pre-season training on June 20th. He said, quote, they will have 6 weeks even to get their bodies into condition we need them to be in for the start of the new campaign, end quote. So we've been looking at the pitch. We've been looking at the training ground. Work has needed to be get done. I've seen the pictures come out. The photographs of the equipment and the pitch work beginning, so it's good to see it get rolling, get it ready for the new season.
You got to remember, next season starts earlier as well.
We also had issues, didn't we? We had issues this season with waterlogged pitches, which and frozen over pitches. We don't want that next season, really. We don't want that fixed backlog at the end of the season to catch up on. So we want to make sure that we're not having to postpone things, that we're getting our house in order, getting all the pitch at a standard. And we don't want injuries, and pitch conditions are a big thing for that. We want to play football. We want to be, when teams were coming to Hillsborough, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, I don't know if I've read this somewhere or I'm making it up, but I think we are actually expanding the pitch slightly.
Yes, we are a little bit.
We're putting the playing markers out slightly wider just because we play a more expansive style of play now. So that is going to suit us down to the ground at home, especially when teams like Wickham rock up. No offense to Wickham, I still like Wickham, right? But this season they've become a bit of a meme. But when they what
in
happens,
the whole of League One, because you're not the only
ones by any stretch of the imagination. You've just been spotlighted for it. But we need to make sure that when teams come that play that direct style, should we say that, right?
Yes.
That direct style, that we can dance around them and have the space to dance around them, and that will be massively beneficial for us going forward, I think.
I'll be interested to see how much the investigation onto injuries at the training ground went into the pitch, because there was a lot of talk saying the pitches are too hard, that's why they're getting muscle injuries all the time. So it'll be interesting to see what they found from that investigation, because he started that investigation around October time, I want to say, and then kept it going just to see what happened. Because you notice during the back end of the season, we got less injuries. They weren't as bad. So, and also, with the thing of saying June 20th, I reckon you're going to see a lot of busy time because he wants all players in of June 20th. So that's got to be transfers as well. And we haven't got the situation we had last year where we were waiting on the FL to say who we can sign and what we can sign. We can just go for it.
Yeah, and I will say, actually, linking into that, Chansiri has spoken about transfer business, saying he will make the funds available where he can with stuff because he wants to go for top two, and push for it.
Yeah.
He's not going to... I think he was quoted as saying to Yorkshire Live, is saying that he's not going to put less money. He could put a lower amount of money in and then aim for the playoffs, but he's not going to do that. He's going to aim for top two. So putting his money into it, I'm excited Wednesday being able to actually being able to spend a little bit of money with Darren Moore. If it's done properly, this could be, because I will say I loved Carlos, right? But the money was not spent well at that time. And it was a culmination of everything. It was Chansiri just coming in, loads of transfers coming. Oh, we'll have that player. And it didn't seem to be very cohesive. But to have a manager who seems to sort of organise that themselves and want to, be a big part of that and actually know what they're doing and have the right players for his
recruited well
system.
Last season as well.
Yeah.
With no money. So I don't think and I think Darren Moore's the kind of player, manager even, that will go, look, if you want to come. If you're not, I'm not going to spend any more money on you.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised because he's he's had good relationships with players like Saido Berahino and stuff, and he's not afraid to make sure the club keeps progress. And if he thinks the right decision is to release them, like within the situation of Berahino, he'll do it.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what Darren Moore brings in, and we know what his connections are like a lot of the time. And yeah, it could be another case if we get maybe 2 or 3 permanent signings and the rest are loans. But our loan players did very well last season. Forest just went up with a team of 5 loan players.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. Wasn't a very good final, was it?
No, it was horrible.
No. And I will say Huddersfield should have had 2 penalties. At least one.
They should have done.
But I did want Forest to go up, so there's that.
Yep.
Okay, so we've heard murmurs. Not something I'd usually say we've actually heard it. It'd usually be say, would you think? But we have heard murmurs that this might actually happen. Do you remember we spoke about a striker, Kyle Hudlin, last season?
He's the 6'9" tallest striker in England or something, isn't he?
Yeah, so it's not been reported by any of the journos yet. We have heard murmurs, and again, take it with a certain pinch of salt, but there might be something there. It's something that I feel like I can set in. If nothing happens, does it? But there might be potential that we're going to go back in for him because it was a situation where there would have been fees. It wouldn't have been free last season. It wasn't the right sort of time. But that 6'9" striker, Sheffield Wednesday, might be back in for him. What are your thoughts on that one?
We do need a target man, but we can cross the ball into the box. But 6'9", he's a good player. I think he had a bit of an injury hit this season. Solihull Moors into their final to go up. I think it Grimby and Solihull because Chesterfield and Wrexham lot. So it's an interesting one because there's a link there with Darren Moore, with coaching staff, and I think it's kind of players you're looking at, like trying to get a player who's a bit younger, going outside, and this will be way outside the box for Wednesday to do. We haven't done this in a long time.
Yeah,
we haven't gone like lower league, and it's what everybody in League One and League Two does. So it will make sense if it happened, but it's pinch of salt time, isn't it? So
it is. It's one of
silly,
those
silly season.
It's like it's. I've heard this from we've both heard this from multiple places, but I don't know if it's the right fit. So I'm not personally. I would say potentially don't believe this one, but I'm just sort of saying what conversations we've heard. So he's over 2 meters. He's 2 meters high. He's a very big man. He's 21 years old. He was born in 2000 after the millennium. So yep, he would be one for the future, but potentially one that we could. We said a lot about him last season, but we could bring him in.
I would just love to see I would just love to see the photograph of him next to Barry Bannon.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? He's scored 4 goals in 23 appearances because this season he's had quite as you said, an injury hit season. So,
but the following season he was knocking him in left, right, and season. Left, right.
Yeah, let me just get that. You just have a little chat about what you know about him while I get all those stats up.
The 6'9", you think he's just going to get it on his head, but he has got good feet. So if you get ball to feet to him, he can get forward. And he had a great save, actually. A header save that happened in the game versus Chesterfield. And he was unlucky in that. And I want to see him go down this route of going lower league because there are some really good gems you can pick up. But I don't know if we're in the position to take them risks.
No, and the season before he played 34 times and only scored 9 times. I must say, I don't see it. I don't think it's... I understood it last season when we looked at those physical teams. Unless Darren Moore wants an option, that's where you could come in, actually, right? We do struggle to break down the direct teams because we do tend to try and play it out from the back and then we'll play it. And I've been saying this season quite a lot, it's header tennis, right? In the middle of the park. Is this an option? Is Kyle Hudlin the lad that you chuck on 6'9" when you've been trying to play nice football all the time, but League One just won't let you play it, right?
You mean Atty New sub?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is he the lad you just stick onto, so they have to put 2 men on him to mark him?
Well, we tried to do that.
And then play off him with your creative players.
We tried to do that this season with Patterson. It didn't work. We don't have, in the current squad, a target man. Really.
No, we don't.
And we've learned to put crosses into the box. So it makes sense to have something.
The more I'm talking about this, the more I can see it as an option. If it's a good, it's a reasonable fee for him, could be a solid bit of business, really.
And I don't know if we'll see anything from this until they've had their final anyway.
Yeah, but it's worth mentioning. Let's get some talk around him. See what you guys think in the comments. Let us know. But Kyle Hudlin, 6'9", non-league. Could it happen? We shall see. Right. There's not a lot of news, is there? But I'm not even going to mention this story. I'm going to cut our new stories even further because it's all about speculation about the transfer. Players talking about, it's going to be a busy window, things like that. So not really newsworthy there. It's going to be we are going to bring the community tab back next week, by the way, guys, properly. So feel free to get in the Discord and keep an eye on the community tab on YouTube so we can get your input.
It's that weird end of season where nothing's really happened because the season just properly finished for most clubs. So you're waiting to see who gets relief from the Prem. You're seeing what could happen there. There's you see the list of players who have been released from Championship. They could do a job, but then you try how do you figure out the wage structure for that?
No, that's true.
And I think that's where we've got to be careful now.
Another player, talking about players that we were interested in before, this is being reported. So the Star are talking they're quoting the Rotherham Advertiser about Freddie Ladapo, the player that we tried to bring in the winter transfer window. So in January, we tried to bring Ladapo in. He is now, am I right in saying he has been released? He's been released. So at the end of June, he will be leaving. He is 29 years old. What do you think to this one? Could Ladapo potentially come back around? We didn't sign him, obviously.
Now, the one thing with this is, what I've heard from Rotherham fans, he did cause a bit of issue in the dressing room. He was a little bit of a bad apple, kind of caused a lot of issues. Once they stopped picking him for games, their cohesion kind of improved again. He wanted to go in January, didn't get his way, kind of down tool, but carried on playing. He does know this league, and he is a good player. He managed to go against us that last minute.
Mate, he scored 15 goals.
Yeah.
In 31 appearances. Sign him.
It's a player you can see you're going for because he fits the and this could be that target man you need. That person can hold the ball up a little bit. Because the thing we missed this season...
He's 6'2". He is 6'2".
The thing we missed from last season was pace and a proper like hold up or target man in the box. And I think you need that in League One. Because you see so many teams that we played last season where we couldn't figure out how to. We tried to play the nice pretty stuff on the floor and it didn't work. We did do Route 1, but when we'd done Route 1, it was either to Lee Gregory and he needs somebody at the side of him to hold it and pass it to, and he never did have that. So this makes sense.
I will say this, right? Berahino, notorious for being somebody who downs tools and not really interested, came in under Darren Moore, did a job, was very professional during his time with us.
Yes.
Even though he's been released by us, we never had any issues with him, right? No. He came in and did a job. And he did start firing at the end of the season, but cleverly, Wednesday went, no, you know what? We didn't see enough consistency over the course of the season. We'll go elsewhere. Ladapo, 15 goals, 31 appearances, right?
Yep.
Last season in League One, 9 in 42 in the Championship before that, right? He knows where the goal is.
Yeah.
Why not? When Rotherham's first season, their promotion season, he scored 17 in 31. He knows how to score goals in this league. Yeah. And we need striking options. We've got what? Lee Gregory, Windass, both who pick up knocks.
Yep.
Patterson, if you count him. We've got
centre back though, isn't
he? Yeah. Full back, really, isn't he, in real life? Centre back in my FIFA career mode. But Ladapo, I'd take him.
We don't have enough in that. That is the position we are properly short on.
You could see us signing 2 or 3.
You remember the season we had like 6?
Yeah. And none of them were that great.
Oh.
To be honest. But now, it's a no-brainer for me. Because Darren Moore doesn't seem to have that issue with players, No. And if he can do the same with Ladapo, I'd take him. It could be...
You never heard a player fall out with him.
No.
Everyone's always said they've got a good word about him.
And it's
or leave on good terms.
And he's been playing at a club close enough, hasn't he? So I could...
Not to pay any moving costs.
Yeah. It'd be a good option. It'd be a good option for us. I think we should explore that one a bit more. Right. So I think that's it for the news. No, we're not. No, a little bit more news. This is a weird one, right? This is from the Examiner. This is a weird one. The Examiner Live. Do you remember Reece McCabe? He's now a player manager.
Jesus. How old is he?
29.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
He's 29.
I do remember Reece McCabe. We got him from Rangers.
I was at uni when he played for us.
Yeah, he was like this. Did he get 1 goal and it was an absolute corker of a goal from range?
I just remember us thinking, he's going to be potential the future. Remember, it was the time of Reece McCabe and Paul Corrie.
Oh, God, now you're talking. Yeah.
And Reece McCabe is now a player manager. I found that one as weird as everybody else, I think. But you know what?
Yeah. Fair play to him. Good luck to him.
Good luck to him. See what happens. Okay. This is where I become... Right, Atty, you're listening. Okay, this is where I shout some names, I throw some at the wall, and see if we're linked with him in the next 2 weeks.
This is called Deck. Well, this is called Deck Scouting Corner.
Yeah, Speculation Street, basically. So, who do I think could do a job for Sheffield Wednesday this season? So,
and bear in mind, last season he was pretty spot on with some of his players he got.
Well, I'm not saying I should be employed by the club and paid thousands of pounds, but I am saying that. Hire me. But no, these are pretty obvious, these ones that I picked 4 today. Okay. We're going to start with, I didn't go for the obvious options. And this one might be obvious because he won a gold boot, but Dom Telford, right? League 2, He plays for Newport County, and he won the golden boot in League 2. However, you will be aware that they didn't even finish in the top 10, Newport County. And he's got that physicality to him. He's a physical forward, right? He scored, I'll tell you what, I'll just take it straight from an article. So this is going to explain a little bit why Wednesday could actually move in for him. This is from South Wales Argus, I believe. I'm probably saying that completely wrong because it's Welsh.
Just sounds like you're going to Argos.
Yep. Quote, Golden Boot winner Dom Telford and strike partner Courtney Baker-Richardson have until the start of next week to accept contract offers from Newport County. The duo were left off the Exiles leavers list when it was published on May 11th after being given deals to mull over at the end of the season. The pair are considering their options after helping each other have strong seasons up top for County. After breaking his duck in the EFL trophy, Telford scored 25 goals in League Two to be the division's top scorer, and the 25-year-old striker profited from the hard graft of Baker Richardson. End quote. So they've got that strike partnership on there. I've gone for Dom Telford though because he is a little bit. He reminds me of Lee Gregory. So from what I've seen and what I've studied about him, he reminds me a little bit more of a player that can play like that. Hey, but he's only 25.
I will say this
25
now.
years old, 25 goals, league below. In a team with a contract expiring, you could get on a free. Why not?
Makes sense. With the way you were talking, it sounds like you were trying to get us a 2-for-1 deal here.
Yeah, that could be an option as well, you know? It could happen. You could get the strike partnership going in there. Courtney Baker-Richardson and Dom Telford pair up and play for Wednesday, both on free transfers. I just think there's not many times, right, that you can go in for a Golden Boot winner in the league below your division, right? So they're pretty much primed to give it a go in the league higher than them. There's not many times you can go in and get them for free, right?
Yep.
This is a prime time to go in and get said Golden Boot winner who scored 25 goals in the league below. What do you think, Jake?
Also, Courtney Baker-Richardson, if you did go for him, he's only 26.
There you go. You got your strike partnership. Bring them both in for free. Why not? Sorry, Newport.
It's the kind of, it's like I was saying earlier, it's the kind of deal we need to start to be looking at because there's a lot of good value if you go lower league and get it right.
I will say it would be a bit of a canny one from Wednesday because it would be a massive risk. And do you want to know why?
Go on.
Because it's the first season he's ever done it, right?
Yes.
So it might be a complete one-off. But if any club's going to take a risk, why not be Wednesday, right? Because last season he made 15 appearances and scored 1 goal. The season before for Plymouth, he's made 24 appearances and scored 2 goals. That was in League One, obviously. So he did, but he is still 25. He's coming up to that point where he might start hitting
that peak.
You know?
Yeah, it's a good option. And again, you think the way you're thinking is actually quite clear. It's very Wednesday. We're not going to look at who we can buy. We're going to look who we can get for free first because last season we had to do that. And I think that mentality is still there. And I don't think Darren's going to pay for just somebody because it's a name. He's going to go, if you're going to come to the club, we're going to do it. Like one of our big name signings last season was Marvin Johnson and Lee Gregory. But in the goalkeeper thing, you look at who else we signed. You've signed Bayer's injury hit season wherever he'd been. Adam Aaron played at Wickham, was okay. But you look at the bits and pieces that were there, it's building, and he's the right kind of player for someone like Darren Moore who likes to build teams.
He ain't slow either, by the way. He's got the attributes you want in a striker, and we need striking. I said Wednesday could potentially be in for 2 or 3. So
we need 2 or 3.
Why not go for Telford? And we will do the analysis of his FIFA card, as we always do, the tradition on Talking Wednesday. He's a 62 rated bronze, but get this, he's got 82 pace for a bronze, right? Which is great for FIFA. 61 shooting, 47 passing, 63 dribbling, 24 defending, and 59 physical. He's 80 acceleration, 83 sprint speed. He wouldn't be bad to actually use in game at all. So, just as an avid FIFA player, I'd take him for that purely.
And also on the thing that you said, like, we need strikers, just remember we still got to weigh up the Bailey Cadamartri thing if we don't shove him out on loan.
We'll have to see what happens with that because the contract's developing, isn't it? It's not fully signed it yet, but it does look like he's going to. It's also worth mentioning that on the winter upgrade, it looks like he's probably going to be a 65 rating next season because he got a bump to 65.
Not too bad then.
in game throughout the season. So, Dom Telford, he's a Golden Boot winner. Why not take the risk? Let us know what you think in the comments. So, the next player I have scouted for us, and this is one that has been said before, I am pretty sure, right? It must be Cole Stockton. Okay.
Never heard of him.
Never ever heard of him, ever.
I ain't got a clue what you're on about.
Here's the reason I think Wednesday should be in for him, right? Well, the big thing is 23 goals in League One this season in 44 appearances.
Yep.
And he plays for Morecambe, okay? Morecambe, obviously, other end of the table is where Wednesday are going at the minute. Had a great season last season, in fairness to him. They didn't come up and, you know, they performed well last season. But the teams that are in for him are Hibs, Stockport. I will say today, the recording of this podcast, Pompey have been linked as well. Okay, so Portsmouth are in.
Not Port, Hibs, us, Pompey.
No, we're not in for him.
We're not in for him. Right, yeah.
These are what I think. Who I think we should be in for. Well, we might be in for him, right?
But
just none of the journalists have reported that we're in for him, but I think we should be in for him.
I just wonder if some of them has not reported it because it's too obvious for us to be in for it.
Let me just check it's not been reported in the past, because I feel like it might have been.
It's the right kind of player for this league. We've shown that he's managed to step up to the League One and do very well. And he can score goal from any position as well.
So what I'm seeing is the Examiner, like Dom did one of his Q&As, right? And people presented the idea of Stockton to him. So it's something that's been said. You know, it's something that's quite obvious there. I am not surprised. He has scored 23 goals. Yeah. Right? And if you score 23 goals in the league where you need goals,
you get put on everyone's radar.
Exactly. That's why I'm surprised not to see every club linked to him. There were more links last month, right? But it's quieting down. So last month he was linked with Wickham, Rotherham, Portsmouth, Preston, Peterborough. Okay, but now it's all sort of like cooled off a little bit. Now he's coming to a point. You will have to pay for him, but Wednesday are in that market now. We can spend money, so I think we need to go for it. We need to be signing one of these players. Atty, at least put one of them on the list from what I'm saying. All right. Okay. Cool. Should we go for one more from League One? Technically League One, but not.
Go for it.
But not League One as well. He has played in League One this season. It's Gavin Whyte. He plays for Cardiff and he's been playing at Oxford on loan. He's 26. He's a winger, mainly plays down the right-hand side. He got 10 assists. I think he was in the top 3 for assists in League One last season. He got 10 of them for Oxford. He's got 1 year left on his Cardiff deal. Now, there's no guarantee that he is going to get an opportunity at Cardiff. He is the right sort of fit for what the new regime at Cardiff are. You know, looking at players that are coming in at that age, and he does seem to fit that. So he might get a chance this season at Cardiff. There is an option there, but because he's only got 1 year left, is it the time that Wednesday move it? We could do with an option on the wing, you know, especially if we don't know if Mendes Lang, the likes, we've gone for renewal and will actually sign the contract. It gives us options again.
At a good young age as well.
Knows the league, but isn't tied to Oxford. Is tied to Cardiff, which would make me think it's probably easier to get him in that regard.
But this also screams a lot, and it's only called the Oxford link a little bit, as Shadipo. Shadipo did a lot of assists that season, but it was an injury-hit season.
True.
With us. And
but Shadipo was the right sort of risk last season. Again. Just because he got injured, it doesn't make it the wrong
They could be the right kind of risk again, because it's the right kind of thing. Year left. Cardiff will want a bit of cash to invest into their squad. And like I said, it's another one that knows the league. And that's the thing that I thought we did very well from last season. We got players in that already knew League One. Like the likes of So and Canberry. So I don't know what the hell can happen with So, because I don't know if that's one of those ones where, you know, it didn't work, we'll sell you on, because we didn't see enough of him. A lot of people forgot we had him.
I don't think there was a big section of the fan base that definitely didn't. They seemed to take to him quite a lot, but he's our player, so
yeah.
We'll
I'd like to see him push on, because there is a player who can get at people, but we only really saw it when he was in the Pizza Cup.
He might get a solid pre-season under him though, and you never with a solid pre-season.
He did join very late, didn't he? He was like one of our last lot to come in.
Yeah, it's true. Right, last one from me. Right, first question to you: do you still think Wednesday should be keeping an eye on goalkeepers?
Yes.
Yes, so do I, because we don't know what's going to happen with Dawson.
The rumour I've heard is, well, he might be going to a championship club.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
Rotherham.
Oh, come on! Come on! I mean, Barnsley did the same with Adam Davies all those years ago.
They did?
Didn't they? And he ended up actually playing a lot for them, so maybe it's a move.
Yep. And Warren wanted him a couple of seasons ago. It's just that look, wouldn't it?
Otherwise, it wouldn't matter, would it, really? Because, again, I don't see Wildsmith starting for us. I was surprised we offered a contract to him. And I'm not being mean there. I just thought we were trying to refresh the position. I know he's a Wednesday fan, so, you know, I'm fully behind, like, him getting that number one shirt and fighting for it. But, like, I thought we were decent, to be honest. I
think that number one shirt is Dawson next season. Yeah. Right? 100%. But
could it be
you need competition.
Smithers? Could it be Alex Smithers, who has just been released from Cardiff, and he's 32, so he's still not that old?
He's got a good goalkeeper, and he's got a hell of a lot of good experience as well, hasn't
he? Exactly, and he's got promoted out of his league before, as we know.
Yes,
he made 31 championship appearances last season. If you look at his proper stats, don't use the wiki stats; they're wrong. Only 5 clean sheets, but we'll forget about that last season. He made 32. He's a constant sort of like, you know, ever-present goalkeeper in that regard. But Cardiff have moved on. And
he's somebody that does command the box well, and he does organise defence well.
I can't remember fully. Can he play with his feet?
That's the issue. I can't remember that either, because whoever comes in, they've got to be able to play with their feet, because that's how we play.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know if Dawson couldn't when we sent him out on loan, but can he now?
Again, I can't imagine they've been doing too much playing out from the back. But they do. Every team tries it now, at least once, until it goes massively wrong. But Alex Smith is 468 appearances in his career so far, 32 years old. Again, wages will be a thing coming down from the Championship, but if you give him the number one shirt, it's kind of like that free transfer that could really work here.
Isn't he a Huddersfield lad as well? Wasn't he at Huddersfield? Isn't he from round this area? I wonder if that might play a thing, because we had it last podcast saying about Hutch being up here and then his family down south. So you wonder if there's a case of that.
Yeah, it could be that could be a case as well. I just think you think about the kind of keepers that get you out of leagues, and you think about the keepers that we had like Bywater and that, you know, that came in and they were a bit, you know, more experienced. They sort of came through in the. I don't know if a younger keeper is the best way to get you out of the league. Dawson's just done it though, right? So that's why I still say Dawson commands the shirt for me at the minute. But he's got to come in and fit into the system. He's got to also realise that we've also got to realise that he might not have the full confidence from some of the players that were here in our relegation season.
Not a lot of that back four here now.
Yeah, I'm talking just Barry Bannon believing him. That's going to be a big thing, right?
Well,
to
be fair,
it was
Joe that got that. It wasn't. I'm going to say it was Joe in that QPR game that you just hear him go.
Yeah, that's not. But yeah, I know he turned around and just gave him all barrels, didn't he? Yeah. And because there were no fans in the stadium, it's all you could hear.
And it was just so funny on Twitter. People go, "Well, you don't hear that very often."
No, you don't. But I just
we
think
need keepers.
Alex Smith is 32 and he's got a lot of experience. He did have an injury last season, but we'll see what happens in regard to that. Can he? He's not a bad age for a keeper, 32 years old, especially one that's got that experience, dropping down to League One. You want to go up automatics? Do you battle it out with Cameron Dawson for the number 1 spot, or is it a case of if we sign Smithies, does that mean Cam's off on loan again because he'd be like, I don't want to sit on the bench again?
Yeah,
there is that side of it.
And if that's the case, he'll go to Exeter.
Yeah.
The big thing is, when they have been really lucky over the last couple of seasons to not have an issue with keeper, and we do this every single goddamn time, it does my head in. We never look for the next person for the keeper spot. We've always been a team who will address it once it's gone. And that's where we've always struggled. We only really managed to get it right a little bit when it Kirtland to Westwood, because it worked. We're not a good team as getting a keeper sorted. Does that make sense?
It does. Well, we didn't really do it last season. We brought Bailey on loan and we looked for the temporary option, didn't we? So,
well, we could get really.
Yeah. Let's see what happens with that one. But Smithies is an experienced option.
Good keeper.
Just saying. Okay, we have had one right in this week, even though I didn't put a topic out, so that's what the Discord's for. You can be like, hey, can you talk about this on the podcast? And if I think we can, we will. Rotherham Padwan writes in and goes, would you like to see Ricky J. Jones and Josh Griffiths on loan to Sheffield Wednesday? Let's start with Josh Griffiths, because we spoke about him. I think we spoke about both of these before. But Josh Griffiths, if we were talking about a loan keeper, yes, I'd quite like to see him here, but probably not now. No, I'd want to see us sign him, not loan him. Because
you want that to be a permanent transfer, and then you built your entire back four around him.
Yeah, because last season when we were in a position where we can loan, because we talked about that, Bailey was fine for a season because we could loan him and try and bounce back up. That didn't happen. Josh Griffiths was the keeper I wanted last season for that. He ended up going to Lincoln, making 33 appearances. Right? He's done the League One. He's done the League Two. I could see him on a permanent, but not on a loan. I would disagree that I would want him on a loan there. Ricky J. Jones, again, do you want to be loaning him? He plays for Peterborough. He made 17 appearances in the Championship last season. He scored 1 goal. Would you take a risk and buy him? He's 19 years old. Do you want to be developing players like that? Or because he can also be deployed in the midfield as an attacking midfielder. I don't know if I want to see them either of them on loan, because I don't think Ricky J. Jones has been prolific enough. Now, he's in my FIFA career mode, as you will know if you watch this channel, but you will see different things there.
Yeah.
I don't think in the real world, I want to sign a player that's only scored 1 goal last season.
Also, can you imagine what the phone call to Josh Griffith and West Brom be like? Hey up, Judas, how are you doing? I want a player.
He has got a lot of potential, don't get me wrong, though. Ricky J. Jones. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know what you were sidetracking there.
Yeah.
But,
to be fair, Ricky J. Jones is one of the ones which you had an earring, you take the risk to see what you can do.
Yeah, but Adeniran was free, so Ricky J. Jones wouldn't be free. So the answer to your question, Rotherham Padwan, is I would leave both Ricky J. Jones and Josh
If you're going to do either one of them, you've got to go, right, here, cash, and then we put him in our squad and go it that way, because I can't see Peterborough wanting to let him go anyway. Now the next season.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But players like that, I think they are very career mode players as well. So, but it has happened. Weirder things have happened. Thanks for writing in. Please keep your player suggestions incoming. But that's it this week for the Talking Wednesday podcast. It's all I've got. Jake, anything to add?
No, that's it for me. Just go enjoy the rest of your week, and remember, whatever you read, just take it with a pinch of salt. It's speculation. It's the silly season. one minute.
That way we've created our own speculations, so that'll be fun.
But it is that thing, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because there are times where I've seen it on Twitter before where people go, oh, we're getting this person, and it never materialised. I think Sheffield Wednesday are a different club from the past. I don't think they leak as much as they used to. It's very close. And if something does come, you find out about it maybe 5 to 6 hours before it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I've noticed that over recently. In the past, it's like, we'd be like, we linked with him on Monday. We talked about it all till Friday signs. Nowadays, we're linked to him at like 2 p.m. we actually signed at 9 p.m.
Yeah, the close window actually keeps. It's if we're keeping cards close to our chest, I'll take that because it means we're doing better business and clubs aren't getting wind of it. And if the stuff that we are getting wind of and journalists are getting wind of, if they're getting wind of stuff that's possibly older news or not there, and we can slip in under the radar, I take that. You know, if we're the club that we only really hear about it on the day, we hear it in the morning and in the afternoon it's confirmed because players have literally entered the building. It's a good way to do business. Keep your cards that close to your chest. But that is it for this week's Talking Wednesday podcast. Take care of yourselves. Have a good week, and we will see you in the next episode of Talking Wednesday.
See ya.